We have Jordan Peterson with a message to Muslims. This is a 6-minute video, and I am worried about what this might mean. Let's find out.
Hi, all.
Hi.
I have been informed by many sources and also observed online, not least because of my discussions with a variety of Muslim thinkers, supporters, and critics, that I have developed an audience in the Muslim world.
Okay. A message to Muslims. I feel like this is gonna be kind of cringe. Not gonna lie. Let's see it. Let's see where he goes.
I would first like to say that I could not be more pleased or honored that such is the case. It has been so heartening to see that my biblical lectures, for example, attracted a large Muslim audience, and that the comments from the Muslim watchers and listeners to my YouTube channel and podcast have been so extraordinarily positive.
We're 40 seconds into the video. This video came out 9 hours ago, so after we attacked what, you know, one of the larger Muslim-controlled theocracies in the world. So, let's see where it's going.
And all this is lovely to see in the aftermath of the extraordinary Abraham Accords, which have laid out the possibility for peace between all the people of the book in an unprecedented manner. And I have something to say as an extension of all of this. Please forgive my presumption, if you would. It is time for those of you in the Muslim world to stop fighting among yourselves, you Shiites and Sunnis, and also time to stop regarding the Christians, and even more specifically, the Jews, as your enemies.
So, I feel like when Rick and Morty did this bit with, you know, Israel and Palestine, and it was the really fucking obvious if you thought about it for a minute thing. It was funny because it was in the context of it being a joke. But while I can agree that a bunch of people in the United States, or not just the United States, but like around the world, should not be fucking killing each other, I do, but just kind of like sitting there going, I have a fan base within there. All of you, I am going to be dad now. Stop fighting each other. I feel... That feels weird. That feels weird. Especially after the United States started a war with Iran. That feels weird. Like, obviously, there are more territories that are theocratic and Muslim than Iran, but, like, doesn't that seem kind of strange to everyone? Right? We bomb one of the larger countries that has like that particular theocratic rule, and you just get Jordan Peterson in here going like, hello, fellow kids, Muslims, don't kill each other. I'll be back with more advice, He-Man.
Why? Not least because you have the enemy located in the wrong place. First, the best place to find Satan, let's say, is within. If you think the true enemy is in someone else's heart, then you haven't thought nearly long enough about the darkness within, and you have therefore fallen prey to the most subtle temptation of the ancient demonic spirit.
So, we can all agree, right, that there is a world where we could be on the same side as Jordan B. Peterson here, because he wants them to stop killing each other and not kill Christians and not kill Jews. Okay, we can be on the same side in that. I feel like, man, it feels weird, because, like, as an atheist, I want to just say, really quick, no religion is worth killing for. And no religion is certainly worth dying for, as my perspective. And I feel like when I say that, there's a measure of arrogance that comes with it. There's a measure of dismissiveness about decades and centuries of history that comes with that when I say it, but I feel it nonetheless. And then when Jordan Peterson says it here, it feels like any arrogance that I might feel within myself is like, multiplied 1,000 times within his aging body? I don't get it. That feels weird. Does anybody else feel that? Azurkat says, somehow I think he found out he has Muslim fans, and now he wants them all to unsubscribe. I don't think he's thinking quite that far ahead. I don't. Will Shart says, is this messaging going to be don't kill each other, let the U.S. do it? So, like, he is talking about the Abraham Accords, which are a series of agreements that were signed back in 2020 that tried to normalize diplomatic relations between Israel and a bunch of other nations in the Middle East, like Sudan and Morocco. So, like, yeah, that is a thing that attempted to broker peace, but then Israel kept doing the genocide in Gaza. And Iran still kills fucking gay people. Though I did find out that my words on being trans in Iran were technically incorrect, because apparently that is an A-OK thing to be in Iran, and there's actually a non-zero amount of people in Iran that, like, you have a guy and he's in love with another guy, and he will get killed for that, but if he transitions to a girl, suddenly that's not as much of an issue in their society. Like, that was something that I was unaware of and ill-equipped to find out, but I got that comment multiple times in my comment section, so apparently that is more weirdness over there. Sarah Shagrita says, I mean, historically, Catholics and Orthodox considered both each other and Protestants an anathema and Jews deicides. Deiciders. Protestants ignored Orthodox and considered Catholics devil worshippers and Jews deiciders, and that only changed since the 90s. That says that's very surprising. Yeah, that was a comment that I got a lot, which was weird. Anselin says, which country was it that was basically forcing transition onto gay men? Iran. So Sephi says, random topic change, thoughts on Nugenics? Hey, Sephi, I appreciate you. You've been a long-standing member of my audience, and you know what? Real quick, no, I haven't played it. Also, I'm in the middle of recording, so I will not be doing a topic change. Thank you. Anyway. It's so easy to derail me. It really is. Little Firecat says, pretty sure the Antichrist is in the Oval Office. Okay, let's continue, Jordan. You got my attention.
So your best bet on the spiritual warfare front is to make of yourself and your Muslim practice something so admirable that the light shining from your well-constituted psyches and productive, generous, and wise actions is so intense that people convert to your faith from sheer admiration.
Okay, so two things. One, that's just the clean your room advice repackaged again. And to be fair, let's actually be honest with each other. Jasta says the fucker words. No. I understood exactly what he said. That was two things. One, it was the old Protestant Christian concept of being such an example in Christ that other people would join the faith. That is one of the things that was, like, really, really instilled in me back when I was in Christian private school. And the other thing is the patented Jordan Peterson clean your room philosophy. For anybody who's not familiar with that, Jordan Peterson, like, one of the things that he is famous for, aside from, you know, lying about Bill C-16 and worshiping lobsters, is the videos where he will talk about needing to clean your room. And people did make fun of him a lot. I did too, when, like, Jordan Peterson would say, like, if you want to change the world, first start with cleaning your room, because it sounds so fucking stupid. It sounds dumb as shit, but, like, the actual underlying thing that he's saying when he says that is that if you want to affect the world around you, if you start working on yourself, that is step one to doing that, and you'll have a better chance at making the world around you a better place if you have taken care of yourself and the things that you are probably ignoring with yourself. For a lot of us, it is like our living spaces. It is like unresolved trauma. Like, these are all versions of cleaning your room. So, like, we make fun of him for that, and I think that it's valid because he makes really simple concepts really, really hard to fucking parse because he likes waxing lyrical with a bunch of big words that he doesn't need to fucking say. And this is a prime example of that, right? Where, like, he basically just told all the Muslims to clean their room. That's what he said here. And there are people who could not understand that at face value because he is so, like, verbally masturbatory that he just comes across like an asshole.
There's a goal. Second, far more unites you with the other people of the book, as your own prophet himself, peace be unto him, forthrightly said, than what divides you. You all believe, for example, in a book. You all believe, for example, in God, and believe that you have an ultimate duty to that God. You are all followers of a prophetic tradition. And that is a tradition that unites the wisdom of the past with the vision and voice of those willing to see and speak truly and lovingly in the present.
So, man, again, it's so weird because I want to agree with what he's saying because this is basic conversation 101. It is, hey, instead of trying to figure out the things that make you different and tear each other apart about that, look at the things that you share and then bond as a result of that. And, like, that sounds okay until you start thinking about the implications of that. For instance, the major beliefs in that book might lead them to think that they should be stoning gay people, which does happen. So, I don't know, there are some implications there that are weird. Also, the timing. Guys, I'm just curious, if we bombed your country, and then a random old dude who's not from that country, but usually talks from the perspective of somebody in the United States, like he's works with the Daily Wire and shit, like you know what his shtick is, and that guy basically comes to you from the region of that country and says, hey, get your own shit in order, or my guy Don's gonna do it again. Like, that's kind of the soft thing that's not said there. It's really strange. Maybe if he hadn't said it around the time that we fucking bombed them, maybe this would be better. But, like, the timing on this is weird, man.
And you are all threatened, in a very real sense, by the system of vengeful Luciferian ideas that currently confronts all that is transcendent, traditional, and valuable on the sexual front, on the familial front, on the conceptual front, on the psychological and sociological front, and, in the final analysis, on the theological front. So, how about we all quit squabbling over trinkets and details and face the real problem? And I should also point out...
So... I like that he doesn't define what the real problem is. Like, he does lay out the, hey, you should work on yourselves and you should not be fighting each other, but, like, the only alternative he gives is maybe just do self-reflection. And for a lot of people, I feel like that's not gonna be enough. Like, it was never gonna be enough regardless, because it's one guy making a video about a region that just got attacked.
That it is not the individual carriers of the woke, politically correct, degenerate, neo-Marxist ideas.
Oh, that's what this is. Hello, Muslims. Stop fighting amongst each other. There's some other people that it would be far better for you to kill. There was a comment that I got on a previous video before that said that if you find yourself agreeing with the conservative, if you find them espousing basic lefty or liberal talking points, like things that you internalize, start asking more questions instead of nodding along. And maybe I should have done that. I was focusing on the weird timing and the verbosity. I was not expecting the turn of maybe there are other people you should be trying to kill instead. Because like when Michael Knowles says eliminate transgenderism, if you try to eliminate an ideology, eventually that will lead to you eliminating the people who espouse that ideology. And there are times where that is okay, right? Like, we're talking about Nazism. Should we eliminate Nazism? Well, yes, because if we do not do that, if Nazism is allowed to continue propagating, then it invariably causes more death. So there is a non-zero amount of scenarios that have human conflict and human death. Why not choose the one that has less of it? And then, World War II happens, and we get to return to Castle Wolfenstein. Anyway, again, that was a weird heel turn, my guy. That was a strange heel turn. Brigwin says neo-Marxists equals Jews, FYI. It's neo-Marxist is a way of saying, new Bolshevism, right?
That should be regarded as the enemy either. First, we must take the idea. I should also point out that it is not the individual carriers of the woke, politically correct, degenerate neo-Marxist ideas that should be regarded as the enemy.
Okay, so it's not the individuals, but
either. First, we must take the idea that the satanic impulse within is the prime enemy with all due seriousness. Second, we must understand that even those quite possessed by the spirit of Cain that attracts and drives confused and lost people to the Luciferian ideologies of the materialist utopians are, in the ideal, fully redeemable and only partially consumed. Even the committed...
Okay, so that's a way to walk it back, but, again, when you start talking about an entire ideology being an enemy, you need to be really, really careful and really, really specific, because there is only one true way to eliminate an ideology. And Michael Knowles knew that when he said what he said, so...
Student ideologues who have, for example, attacked me and others like me rather viciously are generally, say, 90%, or perhaps 80%,
Lenari says, why did I think this idiot was an atheist? Because he is. So, he likes to play coy about it, but technically he is an atheist in that he doesn't believe in God the way that a Christian normally does. He believes in the power of God insofar as stories have power. And so he takes on, a cultural Christendom specifically. But, in terms of real religiosity, he doesn't consider himself a believer of Christ in that way. So he's from what I know, doesn't believe in gods, is not a theist, but believes that there is so much utility in them that he kind of ends up doing all of the same songs and dances? Lenari says, I wasn't misremembering, so he's speaking in metaphor now. So, again, what he's doing is Communication 101. What he's doing is he is using the language of the people he is aiming his words towards. So, as an example, if I was trying to talk to somebody who was a, major capitalist, right? I might not talk to them about socialism specifically, unless I just, wanted to have that debate. I might talk to them about how they feel about unions. Because unions are a socialist idea to try to consolidate power in the hands of the many against the hands of the few that capitalists tend to advocate for. And if you can get enough unions set up, then you end up having enough bargaining power to move that needle. I might not use the word socialism with that person. I may use words that they are much more familiar with and don't immediately have a negative response to. Hey, profit margins would go up if workers were more pleased with their working conditions. Hey, workers become more pleased with their working conditions when they have a say in their working conditions. Hey, one of the easiest and cheapest ways to get better working conditions and get the opinions of everybody in your work, your job, your factory, to talk to one another, to come together and have these conversations instead of trying to facilitate them and using valuable company time for that. Let them start a union, because then they will have to use a portion of their paychecks to pay the union dues, and it is completely off of you. And yeah, they're going to come to you with bargaining, like a little more bargaining power afterwards, but that's really no different than having to, like, is that any different than having to field this shit through HR all the time? And by the way, you could save a lot of money on HR if there was an HR representative within the union specifically that was handling a lot of these things and seemed like she had a much, or like he or she had a much more direct relationship with the people of the union. Like, your business would run better. People would have more pride in their work, and that pride would mean that they would be able to produce better goods for you. Like, I would use language that seems like it is trying to sell the capitalist a thing that will make things better for them, as opposed to saying, hey, buddy, did you know that if you didn't have the fucking workers, you wouldn't have your factory at all? You would just be one guy running around pressing buttons and getting ground up into paste because you didn't know how to use any of this shit? You need the workers to function, so the workers actually have more power in this relationship than you do. They just don't know how to wield it yet. But don't worry, I'm going to tell them to unionize, and they're going to wield that power against you. They're going to have better bargaining power. They're going to get health care, or so help me fucking God. Like, I have said the same thing. Both of these conversations are the same conversation. But one of these is from a socialist perspective where I'm saying, hey, workers' rights. And the other one is from a capitalist perspective where I'm saying, hey, there's this system that we can use that will actually help improve worker efficiency. Like, Sarah Chikorita said, this is what Paul called becoming all things to all people. It's just, speak with people with the language that they are more likely to use. That's what he's doing.
Reasonable and potentially civilized people who could still see the light. Muslims, reach across the sectarian divide. Shiites, find a Sunni pen pal. Communicate with someone on the other side. Sunnis, do the same. And then, maybe, reach out, tentatively, to a Christian, or even, heaven forbid, a Jew. Because perhaps it is time for those who purport to be followers of God to act like it and to be convincing in those actions, even to those whose premature cynicism and skepticism have driven them into the towers of Babel, constructed by the avatars of the resentful intellect. Is there someone in the Muslim world willing to build an electronic system to bring people from the Sunni and Shiite community together? A place where people of goodwill could reach electronically across the divide, person to person?
Have you considered Discord? Like, I feel like maybe, man, I still have to throw criticisms at this because, like, again, up until the point where you started talking about like all of the evils of the lefty Marxists, just tell them to use software that already exists. Otherwise, you're going to get the bystander issue, right? Like, everybody's familiar with the bystander problem, where you, like, a guy gets injured and you are, like, standing over the guy and you yell into the crowd, somebody call the police, somebody call for help, and nobody fucking does anything. But, like, if you point to one guy and say, you, call the police, and you point to another person and say, you, find me a tourniquet, and you point to another person and say, you, help him, suddenly you're going to have a much better response. I feel like that same thing applies here, where, like, if you can say, hey, we live in the age of the internet, nobody has to build an online messaging service, Jordan. Everybody can just use ones that already exist. IRC is a thing. Discord is a thing. TeamSpeak is a thing. Facebook is a thing. Like, all these things exist. And they are available for you to use right now. For free.
And to formulate the kinds of personal, trusting friendships upon which a lasting peace truly might be founded? A place where Jews and Christians willing and eager to open communication with their Muslim brothers might do just that. There's a task for someone looking for a purpose, and it's an open invitation to do just that. If you build it, they will come.
It already exists. It's Facebook. It's Discord. It's IRC. It already exists. You just have to make a fucking... Just make a server. Man, I wish that could happen. I wish that could actually happen, where you could actually get a bunch of people together to actually realize that they are not so different, you and I. But you notice he didn't talk about atheists there? Does anybody feel like maybe, possibly, there is a world where atheists just get kind of fucking crushed under the weight of more united religions? Like, we're already a minority. Butthurt Gamer says, bold of you to assume Jordy could pull his head out of his sphincter for long enough to know if Facebook exists. Hellbound Hillbilly says, no, stating the extraordinarily obvious to Bigot the Frog. Clueless says that sounds likely. So, like, remember that in there he peppered in that, hey, the true enemy is this thing, but not the individual people. Oh, no, certainly not the individual people, just like Michael Knowles doing his whole, not kill all the trans people. I said eliminate transgenderism. Stepping it a step away does not change that. Like, it doesn't change what you said. It doesn't change how that would actually get enacted. Like, you tell a government to eradicate atheism, and guess how they're going to do it? Bodies are going to hit the floor. Jordy P says, hating atheists? No, impossible. Narrator, that was always his deal. I don't know. Let's have an open invitation. You, the Jew, and you, the Muslim, and you, the Christian, all together now. That agnostic over there, yeah, his ideology is caustic and evil. He's partly redeemable, though. Wink, wink. Like, there's some weirdness going on there.
If you build it, get in touch with me. You'll figure out how to do it, and I'll publicize it. Thank you, all my Muslim listeners, watchers, and readers, for your kind attention and patience. I wish you well.
Ignore the fact that the Western world has been trying to destabilize these regions. Not important.
As you strive to become the light in the world that your faith truly demands. Let's see if we can unite as people of the book and negotiate our way toward the paradise that we might truly and jointly attain.
So he calls himself a person of the book now? Has he actually budged on the Christian thing? Because, like, I remember when he had his debate with Matt Dillahunty where he was, like, the softest not theist Christian there was. Very, very weird. I want to see what the comment section looks like for this. I need to know. I need to know. Let's see here. You would have to remove Sharia and Jihad from the Quran in order to change the Muslim mindset. Bold of Jordan to presume Muslims will listen. Okay. Canada will look back one day wishing we had listened more to this man. Why do I have Xander Hall? Oh, right, because I saw a Remnant video talking about Xander Hall, so I wanted to check up his channel. That's why I have Xander Hall in the search bar. Brain. He's getting stronger, thank God. Well, soon, brother, we need you here still. As an ex-Muslim and proud Christian now, besides being a counselor psychologist, the message to Muslims will not change a thing. Jordan Peterson knows as a human beings. We are the creatures of habits and norms. Islam is culture, not just faith, and conformity is Muslims' weapon and tradition that kept them going for 1,400 years. Okay. When this video first released, I was a Muslim. Now I'm a Christian. That's a bot. That has to be a fucking bot. Ali Alex RG 10 hours ago when the video released. What the fuck? What the fuck? Okay. Yeah, no, that's just bots. That's just bots. That's just fucking bots. Remember the first time Jordan made this video and released it? Muslim in the comment section were acting like they had no idea what Jordan was talking about and gaslighting non-Muslims. Now we all see the religion of peace for what you truly are, and there is no gaslighting anymore. He was right, every single word. Oh, wait, hold on. Is this a repost? Is this a repost? I mean, it's Jordan Peterson clips, so I guess there would be another channel where he was posting these things. I guess it is a repost. Weird. Video originally okay. Okay, I was played for a fool. Video originally released in 2022. That's why the timing is so weird. Oh, I understand what happened now. On the main channel, he posted a whole video of which this was a part. And then this video was put out here because after we attacked Iran, a video called A Message to Muslims was going to go semi-viral. It's hit 120,000 views in 10 hours, so, like, that's... those are numbers. Okay, I got played for a fool, but it's still weird. But I feel like, unlike before, this feels like a deliberate attempt to use the timing specifically for those views. Okay. So what do I think of the video? I think it sounds really arrogant. And again, I'm saying that as an arrogant person. I think that everybody that kills each other because of religion is stupid. Every one of them, nightmarishly, profoundly stupid. And I know that that language does not convince anybody whatsoever when I mention that. I'm preaching to the choir at that point. I'm preaching to sensible religious people who agree with me, and I'm preaching to, you know, agnostics and atheists who also agree with me on that. That's not language that helps in any way, shape, or form, but it is how I feel. Jassa says... Quick. Man, I fucking hate acronyms sometimes. Re-releasing their So We're Evading Iran vid. I don't know it. TWKYK. The whitest kid you know. Okay. The whitest kids you know. Man, there are so many acronyms for everything because it's just a common part of human speech that my brain does not process all of them anymore. Butthurt Gamer says he's Mr. Teflon. He hates atheists, but will never commit to an actual position that could be attacked. He's the world's whiniest coward. Anselin says, if I remember correctly, there are two definitions of jihad. The first one meaning personal struggle in faith, and the second one later talking about the worldly struggle. Yeah. Man, the timing on this, just strange. Anyway, Searcher says, BSSM can mean both. Showing exactly what I'm talking about. It can mean Bethel School. It can also mean Sailor Moon. Anyway, that was a weird video. I was not aware of what I was going to get when I watched it, but also the weirdness that hit me more was that middle part where he started talking about the evil Marxists. Don't worry, unite amongst each other. Don't talk to the evil Marxists, though. They're halfway redeemable. But I'm not going to go any further into that. There's some weird implications to that. Don't look into that. Man. You get Jordan Peterson when you click Jordan Peterson. You know what? You're right. You're right. Hey, you made it to the end. I want to give an extra thanks to the patrons who allow me to do this full time. I want to thank Aaron Rail, Astral, Britzkrieg, Jemshin, Poundini, Red Joker, Victoria, Jonas, Craig, Tarika, Fireshard, Smiling GM, John, Dren Hadamada, Creeper, Sagitta, you know I'm not saying that last part, Sylvie Snow, Valis of Seraph, Ottoman Angel, Rooster Rachel, and Fire Panda, who are all my $20 and up patrons.